week's installment of the Focus TV. Joined as always, we got Octavia Wyatt, Raymond Lyons, Cardell Dudley Jr., Wilson Tarpe Jr. Welcome to Season 5, Episode 42 of the Focus. Going to talk NFC East, cut down day. What's today in the NFL? So first round of folks making the cut from 80 down to 53. Has some trades, some interesting things have gone on within that division. It's been an interesting weekend. Going to update you guys on DC United. Wild second half in their game this week. We're going to talk some WNBA Playoffs, of course. And then we're going to see what Cardell has for us in rapid fire along with the 9-4-50 breakdown. So Octavia, we'll start with you. The NFC East.
Yes. So like you said, today was the official cut down of the rosters from, I believe it was 75 to 53. They had a couple of days roster cuts, a couple of days ago as well. The preseason is officially over, of course, with them cutting it down to 53. I will tell you guys now, I made the conscious decision not to care about the preseason game 3. If you want to know why, we got killed. So therefore, I'm not talking about anybody's. I just don't want to. But basically, pretty much nobody starters played in the last game anyway. If they did, they played a little bit of time. But the biggest news that's coming out today is, of course, the people who were cut, who made the team, who didn't. So I'll go ahead and start now. Probably the biggest news, and I'll start with the hometown Washington Commanders. If you haven't heard, rookie running back Brian Robinson was actually shot this past Sunday. He was shot, I believe, 2 times in the leg on H Street, leaving an establishment, and it was an apparent possible armed robbery or carjacking of some sort. He's already had surgery. I even saw clips of him today in the facility. So he's up walking around. He has the crutches. So the biggest news is they actually kept him on the roster. He still made the team despite undergoing surgery, I believe yesterday, it must have been yesterday. They don't have him on the injury reserve list as of now, which they're saying is a possibility he could play in 2022. So barring any setbacks, I guess, we'll see him, which, I mean, they love the way he ran. I thought that if he continued playing the way he was, Antonio Gibson was going to have to watch his back because we know Antonio Gibson has a case of the drops. But yeah, they kept him. What was kind of surprising was with that situation happening, it does look like they decided to keep an additional running back as well. I probably thought it would be Jaret Patterson, who played for them last year, but Jaret Patterson was one of amongst one of the ones that were cut from the team today. Excuse me, I can't get my words out. So just some other people that were cut: offensive tackle Alex Akinabulu, defensive tackle David Bada, tight end Kendall Blayton, running back Reggie Bonifant, DN William Bradley King, defensive tackle Tyler Clark, wide receiver Matt Cole, cornerback Corn Edler. Another surprise for me, wide receiver Alec Erickson. I thought he had a pretty good preseason as well. Farrar Gardner, Justin Hamilton, Jake Hausman, linebacker Khalid Hudson, cornerbacker Danny Johnson, offensive guard Nolan Laufenberg, offensive guard Wes Martin, wide receiver Kyrick McGowan, wide receiver Mark and Michael, offensive tackle Aaron Montero, cornerback Dewan Neal, DN Jacob Pasuk, and veteran safety Stephen Parker, along with, like I said, Jaret Patterson, center John Toth, as well as linebacker Trey Walker. Rivera has already come out and said that this is not the end of their roster moves. We know that waivers are going to open up, so a lot of people that were released from these teams are going to hit waivers, and we'll see who ends up where. One to the next, I'll go ahead and go to the Dallas Cowboys. Their situation is a little weird. They kept one quarterback. Dak is the only quarterback currently on the roster. Cooper Rush as well as Will Greer both were cut, but it was all for just kind of transactional situation. With the injuries that they have to have players that are literally on the 53-man roster to make sure that they'll be able to play later on. So some of them, like Tyron Smith, we know Michael Gallup is still not going to be playing yet. We know what happened to James Washington as well, which is another reason they kept 7 wide receivers. 2 of them, of course, not actually, I think it was 8 wide receivers that are, we know that 2 of them aren't going to be available when the season starts. Another thing, they have no kicker. They have no long snapper. Yeah, so I don't know. It's a little bit weird, but they've already stated that most of these people are either going to get back through waiver wires and hit the practice squad or make it to the 53-man roster as well. For the quarterbacks, Cooper Rush, he does not go through waivers. So more than likely he will be either on the practice squad or backup to Dak. I would think backup to Dak because there's nobody behind him. Greer also does go through the waivers, so there's a possibility that he might get picked up, or of course he'll be on their practice squad, or maybe they'll keep him as well. So just some things going on. Like I said, they don't have a kicker. They don't have a long snapper, and they also released a CJ Godwin as well, but they still feel like most of these players are going to be in the mix. We know all the players that are really going to already there for them. So the biggest question also is going to be, of course, offensive line with Tyron Smith getting injured with the hamstring. I believe they say he should return maybe sometime in December. So seeing how now Tyler Smith is going to take over. Is he going to take over? They're kind of quiet about what's going on, but they do expect it to be somebody in-house because, again, like I said, with all the waivers and people getting cut, you never know who could end up on their team. But, again, you still never know. These things happen like in a blink of an eye. So no idea. But also quarterback Ben DiNucci was cut. Wide receiver TJ Vasher. Wide receiver Dontario Drummond. Linebacker Malik Jefferson. Linebacker Story Jackson. DN Mike Tafua. DN Markavis Bryant. Offensive line Isaac Alarcorn, who actually he was kind of fun. Offensive line Amon Simon. O-line Braylon Jones. O-line James Empey. Wide receiver Brandon Smith. DC Josiah Bronson, safety Janiah Thomas. Another surprising one, defensive tackle Carlos Watkins, who was the 2021 starting defensive tackle. It's kind of surprised to see him get cut, but things happen. Running back Aaron Shampkin, cornerback Isaac Taylor Stewart, offensive tackle Aviant Collins, safety Tyler Coyle, tight end Sean McKinn, running back Malik Davis, center Alec Lindstrom, kicker Brett Maher, of course, like I said, long snapper Jack McQuaid, TJ Goodwin, Cooper Rush, Will Greer, all those people that we've already named, but those people will probably be back. Next up, we'll go to the New York Giants. Also, they let go of Davis Webb, which is their backup quarterback. Well, he would have assumed to be the third string behind Tyrod Taylor, but like I said, most starters didn't play in the last preseason game, but Tyrod Taylor, who is going into the season as a backup, did play. Got a back injury, so it's a little bit shaky that they decided to cut him. Who knows what will happen? He does, have to clear waivers. Who knows if they'll be able to pull him back on his practice squad. There's been some rumblings of him just stepping away from the game completely, as I believe before the season or before he got signed with the Giants, he had an interest in coaching somewhere in the Bills organization. So who knows what that will happen. But they'll probably need to get a backup for Jones. We know last year when Jones got hurt, it wasn't a lot of good people behind him. And with Tyrod, he's definitely had some injuries in his career recently, and this is just another one to add to the list. Don't know how serious it is, but hopefully it's not serious, and if he does need to come in, he's able to. So the big people else that were released, like I said, Davis Webb, wide receiver CJ Board, safety Yusuf Corker, running back Deshaun Corbin, who I was a little bit surprised with. He was really good for them in this preseason. Very healthy, but it's just not enough spaces for all the running backs they have. They have Saquon, Gary Brightwell, Antonio Williams, as well as Matt Breida ahead of him. So maybe he'll clear. Maybe he'll hit the practice squad for them. Also, tight cornerback Darren Evans, cornerback Harrison Hand, Khalil Dorsey is a cornerback. Another cornerback Zion Gilbert, safety Nathan Meters. Safety Trenton Thompson, tight end Austin Allen, offensive tackle Roy Mabitika, offensive line Josh Rivas, offensive tackle Eric Smith, offensive line Jamil Douglas, offensive line Will Holden, Garrett McKinn, wide receiver Alec Bachman, who I was a little bit surprised with as well. He had a pretty good showing. Wide receiver Keelan Doss, wide receiver Jalen Moore, wide receiver Travis Tovina, Quincy Roach, Ryder Anderson, Jalen Holmes, David Moe, and kicker Ryan Santosa. Like I said, I thought Bachman had a pretty good season, preseason. But they're kind of strapped in with their wide receivers, like I said, with Kenny Golladay as well as Kadarius Toney. There's been rumblings if they were going to trade Darius Slayton. So who knows? It could change. Maybe they'll hit their practice squad as well. Last but not least, the Philadelphia Eagles. Most significant news today. Anthony Harris, who was our star safety last year, was released. And it looked like he was released because there was a trade. The Eagles signed C.J. Gardner-Johnson from the New Orleans Saints, who primarily played the nickel for them, but he'll be playing safety for the Eagles. I mean, honestly, this is probably the best secondary we've had in like 20 years. It feels like. I know I'm stretching, but it's been bad back there. So they've definitely bolstered that up a lot. But like I said, it was to see Anthony Harris get released. Also, Jaquarsky Tart, who I thought had a chance to also make the squad. He just didn't have a great showing in the preseason and missed a couple of practices due to personal reasons. So he just never really got his footing. And it just looks like Howie just wants to go young. Like I said, CJ Gardner, he's coming off of his rookie deal. So he's basically on a prove it, 1 year this year to see, or maybe they re-sign him. I don't know. They just happened today. But some other notable people that were released that I was kind of surprised with. I thought Deion Kane had a really good showing, wide receiver, offensive tackle, Raven Clark. Like I said, Anthony Harris, tight end Richard Rodgers, Jaquarsky Tart, center Cameron Tom, wide receiver who was the Olympian, Devin Allen, he was also cut. Jack Anderson, Kayode Awuska, cornerback Josh Blackwell, Kennedy Brooks, running back, safety Andre Chichar. I thought he would possibly make it. Kayvon Wallace did make it, but he didn't really have a great preseason. I thought he had a shot, but didn't make it. Wide receiver Britton Covey, who started off the season really, really well, or the preseason very, very well. He had a thumb injury that it seems like ever since that happened, it kind of stalled his progression, but maybe he'll make the practice team. Linebacker Christian Ellis, cornerback Mario Goodrich, cornerback Tay Godwin. I knew he would get it. I'm surprised to see wide receiver John Hightower. Running back Jason Huntley, who had a decent showing as well. And with the injuries to Miles Sanders, maybe he definitely will probably be in the practice squad again. DM Matt Leo, cornerback Mac McCain, the third. Cornerback Reed Sennett also was cut, so we're only keeping two, which is Jalen Hurts and Gardner Minshew. Maybe Reed hits the practice squad as well. Carson Strong, who was the undrafted free agent, didn't quite pan out like they wanted him to. Cornerback Curry Vincent was cut. Marvin Wilson and Rennell Wren, as well as Kobe Smith. Greg Ward was also cut, but he was injured, so he won't be able to play for us this year, but he might get picked up on waivers if he becomes healthy enough during the season. So as of now, these are your 53-man rosters. Like I said, who knows what's going to happen in the next couple of days with waivers getting ready to start up. We know everybody is still got about a week or 2 weeks until the season starts. No more preseason games since there are only 3. But yeah, I'm really excited for the season to finally start. We just talked about it's crazy how it's almost Labor Day, and everything is getting ready to start. So I'm just ready for the season to get rolling.
For sure. And hope people remember just with these rosters is going to be real fluid with this much time before week 1. Feels like today was just kind of people keeping them the 53 most important people as of the moment. And we saw some wild trades today too outside the NFC East. So it might be more trades. I don't know what these people are about to do, but it feels like 15 days may be too much for the NFL. They seem to have some wild story breaking every 3 days. It's felt like this all season. Gonna shift gears, go to the WNBA playoffs. First thing first, just wanted to shout out Ariel Atkins and Tasha Cloud of the Washington Mystics for making the first team all defense this season, WNBA. If you guys follow us all along throughout the season on Mystics Outlook, it shouldn't be a shock. We've talked about what they bring to the table on that end of the floor. It's good to see them rewarded and recognized for their work on that end of the floor. That said, last time we talked to y'all, it was before the 2 Game 7s in round 1. So quick update in case you weren't following along, which, F grade for you guys. We were asking you guys to pay attention. Chicago beat the Liberty 90-72. Connecticut beat Dallas 73-58. And that was just to advance out of round 1, those pivotal game 3s, to go into game 1 of the semis. That set up the matchups. So in game 1, we had Seattle beat the Aces 76-73. Big buckets late from Jewel Lloyd. Again, Cardell made a probe before the start of the postseason that seemed to be evergreen as it pertains to Seattle. You can take Mystics off it and bring in whatever team they're playing. It still applies. But she got going late in that game and delivered. Connecticut beat down. I'm sorry, not Connecticut, but Connecticut held off Chicago 68-63. The Sun front court, they got contributions from every member of their front court, and they kind of needed it because it was the kind of off balance, historic performance from one Candace Parker. She barely missed getting a 5x5, and if she got the 5x5, it's going to be the second 5x5 in league history, only to something she did as a rookie. Because again, just she's kind of sort of great. That said, what is interesting in this is that both game ones were run by the road teams in this series. Again, the semifinals is best of 5, moving on from best of 3 in the first round. Ray, we'll start with you and then go to Cardell, and then we'll get to you, Octavia. I want to get your thoughts just on game one semifinals. You guys can start wherever you want. Just now that we're in the semis, it's 1-0 on both sides. What did you take away from it, Ray?
I'm gonna start with the Aces and the Storm. I mean, the Aces, they got a lot of tools, a lot of weapons. But with a matchup of this caliber, it's going to come down to execution and discipline. And Seattle proved to be the more short-handed team down the stretch. You mentioned Jewel Lloyd, and we were talking the other day when the game was on in the group chat how just a couple missteps, and she's there to put the nails in your coffin. You got to be mindful of her inside of 2 minutes. Like it's that's scripture at this point, man. She's shown up time and again. And the Aces, man, they just let one get away. And that's a game where a lot of things weren't going right for them. Especially to start. They missed a lot of layups, had some turnover issues. Kelsey Plum took a minute to get going, and they're still right there at the end. They got outplayed in the open court. Seattle had 15 fast break points to their 0. Seattle had 5 second chance points to the Aces 0, and it's a 3-point game. So, I mean, that just shows how how small the margin of error is, and they got to clean that stuff up if they plan to get out this series. They have the talent, obviously. Their backcourt is solid as hell. They got a bench. They do miss De'Erica Hamby. Asia, she's going to have to be a little more aggressive offensively. She only had 8 points, 1 shot attempt in the fourth quarter. I know she had a little foul trouble early, but man, down the stretch she was in. So I mean, and then with the way Stewie was playing, she's got to offset that. So yeah, man, the Aces they got some work to do. On the other side, Chicago and Connecticut. This game was kind of reminiscent of Chicago's game 1 of the first round against New York. They came out kind of sluggish a little bit. Connecticut took advantage. Candace Parker, man, but she had a great game, as you pointed out. But overall, Connecticut, I think they played a more rounded game as a team. We saw how Chicago bounced back in game 2 of the first round. And that's typical of them. They rebound really well off losses. So Connecticut, man, they just got to be prepared for the onslaught because the the math says it's coming. So we know how great Chicago is as a team executing. Their coaching staff, they prepared them really well. James Wade's not he's not happy with how that first game went. So they're really going to try to come back and put a statement on the series. So man, it's going to be interesting. I don't know, man. It's a toss up for me on either side. Of course, I'm favoring Chicago in this series. If the Aces if they can just be disciplined for 40 minutes, then I think they should have this in hand. But Seattle, they're an experienced team. They got great players over there as well. So, man, you never know how that's gonna go. Especially with that game one being so close. It just one small thing can tip the odds in either team's favor. So, I think both of these series are going to be good moving forward.
For sure, I'm definitely already looking forward to game 2 in both series. Again, those are Wednesday this week, so you guys don't have too much time. Wednesday, another doubleheader, which I'm enjoying back to back. There's no reason to get up and go anywhere, go too far. Cardo, your thoughts on the semifinals of the WNBA playoffs thus far?
Yeah, I'm gonna start on the Chicago, Connecticut side. I feel like Connecticut kind of bullied Chicago outside of Candace and Copper because you can't bully those two. But Emma, you can bother her physically. You can bother their backcourt physically, and that's what the Suns did, and they got the bodies to do it. You got Jonquil, you got Alyssa, Bonner's thin, but she's tough, and then you come in with Bree Jones. There's no let up, and I think that's what they did. Even Courtney Williams and Hyman and Odyssey Sims, those are ultra competitive guards. They scrapped. I think everybody saw, the viral video where Courtney and Copper were holding on to the ball. Neither one wanted to let that go. Copper's 6 feet. You know what I'm saying? Like that's on the fella side. That's equivalent to being like a 6'8" small forward. Courtney Williams like 5'5". You know what I mean? And she's just like, nah, you ain't getting this. That's setting the tone. That's letting them know we not going anywhere. We gonna be here. You know what I mean? And that's not. I could tell that's not what this guy expected. They expected to kind of be a skill battle, matchups and stuff like that. And they punched him in the mouth, and that caught them off guard. Everybody said, like I said, Candace and Copper. Also you go to their bench. Rebecca, I think Rebecca, I think she started in the first round. I think she started. I think Wade overthought it. Keeps getting why you switching up now? You know what I mean? You pretty much put Copper pretty much as the 4 and had Candace in there as the 5. You know what I mean? And I think that disrupted them a little bit from chemistry wise. Stick to what you do, and then adjust from there. That's what got you there. And Azura Stevens, another one. Look, she's been playing well this season, but she got punched. You know what I mean? Like 2 points. We've seen her pretty much every game against the Misses dominated. She's pretty much been an X factor when they play Chicago, and that ended up being the difference, man. And that's really what it was. I think if they try to get in a skill battle because of Chicago's backcourt, the Sun will lose. So the Sun's going to their advantage. We're gonna mix it up in the paint and try to bully and dominate. And that's smart. That's just smart strategy. That's what finding the identity to win is all about. You got to find out what works for you, and then the other team gonna have to adjust. It's not about always winning a certain style, and that's what I think they call Chicago guard. And Chicago's gonna have to match that, and that means some of their players gonna have to come out their comfort zone. That remains to be seen if they will. The bench is key. Look, the Sun won a rebounding battle and they won an assist battle. But the bench is key. Bree Jones pretty much won that by herself, and I think she's candidate for 6 Women of the Year or whatnot. But look, Chicago's bench will have to give them more. It's just no getting around that because the starters gonna have to. They're going to be fighting. It's going to be war between the starters. Whichever bench comes to play the best is going to win this series, and I think that's the difference. And it really comes down to Rebecca Gardner, Zora Stevens, or Alamar versus Bree Jones, Odyssey Sims, and Carrington. Which bench do you trust more? You know what I mean? And right now, Connecticut, they got home court. So you got to kind of give them the edge at this moment. You know what I mean? With the way things are going. We're going to see. Who knows? Parker and Copper may elevate their games. We all know their backcourt is capable if they can withstand that physicality. But the times they have lost in the past, the physicality got to them. So we'll see how that goes. As far as for the Aces and the Storm just did, the kind of what they always do. They're just smarter. They just execute on both ends. It's really not much to say. Like Sue Bird, they talking about her shooting. Chelsea Gray put up numbers against her. But Sue Bird also had 12 assists and no turnovers. She didn't make a mistake. Fine, she was off shooting the ball, but she damn sure made everybody else was going off. And she didn't give them chances to beat her. Plus, no one talked about this. Tina Charles, 18 rebounds. She controlled the game. They didn't get extra possessions. That's huge. You know what I mean? And when you control the game, if you're not turning the ball over, you're controlling the boards, you're in control of the game. All you got to do is make a few baskets, and more than likely you will win 90% of the time. And that ended up being the difference. And then if you controlling the game and you give Jewel Lloyd a chance to take you out, we know Stewie's the constant. She going to do what she do. And the reason why Asia struggles because the defense. You know, their defense was on point. You know, shout out to Stewie. She didn't really get any good looks. But it comes back to Jewel Lloyd. They got to do something. I felt like Kelsey Plum, look, she's the 3-point shooting leader or up there pretty much year in, year out. I felt like she settled too much. You got to take you as a player, you know when you off and you're not feeling it. Now, if it's within the flow, you take those shots. But you 2 for 10, some of those shots were forced. And those are shots that if you took your time and moved the ball around and stayed disciplined like what Seattle does, you'll get it back in the flow of the offense, and those would be much better shots. Like for Jewel Lloyd, she had plenty of time where she had space to take the first shot, but she let the play develop, move the ball, and then all of a sudden she got the ball back with an even better shot, and then she made them pay. That's the difference between the Aces and the Storm, and that's been the difference between the Storm when they've been healthy, compete for championships, and the rest of the league. They don't beat themselves, especially in crucial moments. Sue Bird has a lot to do with that, but so does Jewel Lloyd. Because to be an assassin she is, she's not out here just putting up bad shots. A lot of teams shoot themselves to L's when they got the advantage and they're up because they get happy when they see a couple go in. And she stays within. She just stays poised, man. She's a poised killer. And that's why they're tough to beat, man. And they're going to have to figure out something, the Aces, man. And because truth be told, this is what I saw throughout the regular season that made me like, you know, nah, and that's why the Mystics were getting them out of there. Because if you keep giving the Mystics chances, they're going to beat you eventually, even though they make their own set of mistakes. Storm, and ain't no room for error. Because I don't expect Sue to be 1 for 6, 1 for 7 again. You know what I mean? That ain't gonna happen. Their benches, all right, we got the second round jitters out. They're gonna be ready to play. Jewel Lloyd and Stewie gonna be the constants. So then what you gonna do? And Chelsea Gray, shoot, you can't play no better than what she did. Asia got to step up, but she got Stewie. That's defense. Like, I love Asia, but she's not as versatile as Stewie. And Stewie is taller, so Stewie can bother her and more athletic. So she can bother her and make life very difficult for her. And then you also got a couple 6'4" bigs out there that can come off the bench and rotating over to also help out in case Stewie does get beat. So it's gonna be tough for Asia. That's why Kelsey has to be more poised. She's key, and Jackie, especially Jackie, because she got to do something about Lloyd. She got to slow her down. She got to do something. Because if Lloyd keep doing what she's doing, yeah, this gonna end in Seattle. So, great series, great starts to the game, but you can kind of see where some advantages are for the teams that won moving forward.
All right, Octavia, your thoughts on the semifinals thus far?
Yeah, I mean, like you both said, both games are, first of all, just great games to watch. I thoroughly enjoyed watching both of them. But with the Storm and the Aces, just like you both already stated, the Storm is just going to do what they do. You can tell how poised they are. You can tell how they're always ready for the moment. It's even, think about it, they did that without Gabby Williams, who was out with the concussion. So, I mean, with her coming back, if she comes back, I don't know how, if she's going to be out for the game tomorrow as well. Because we know how her slashing and her moving around definitely helps them out as well. And like you said, Jewel Lloyd is just poised, and she's just a killer. Like I knew it was coming when it happened, and it just happened like it always does, it seems like. But yeah, like I said, Stewie had a slow start. I think she scored majority of her points in the second half. And you can't let that happen with the Storm. Like, they're just going to be too good, and they're going to walk you down, and they're going to do the right things at the end of the day. Like you said, Asia didn't have a great showing. She definitely has to get it going a little bit earlier. They're going to need her to compete against Stewie, because Stewie is playing lights out. And like you also said, Sue Bird is not going to be 1 for 6 or whatever she was going further. So it's going to be a dogfight for them. I think also it comes down to coaching. I love the coaching of both teams. Just to see the adjustments and everything. But I mean, it was a close game. So, like Ray said, also, like, it's kind of, to me, it's going to be a toss-up. Like, it depends on who's more assertive, and it's more who's more disciplined. in their game plan and making sure that they're following it to the T to make sure that they can come out with a victory. But like we already said as well, both of the road teams won. So it's flipping the series immediately, and it's going to be tough for the home teams to kind of shift in gear and try to catch back up. As far as the sun and the sky, it's definitely gave me reminiscences of the first series between the Sky and the Liberty. It just seems like the Sky wasn't the Sky didn't come out ready to play. It just seems like they took it for granted. It's like, granted they won last year or whatever it is. I don't think that's exactly what it is, but to have Candace Parker have a night like she had and to still lose is pretty demoralizing. She was everywhere and she was doing everything she could. I mean, salute. I think she had 2 assists. That's uncharacteristic for her and herself. So it also kind of goes back to what Cardo was saying about them not moving the ball as much and taking ill-advised shots. They need to get back to the basics and get back to what they've been doing all season long. But yeah, like you said, the Sun just kind of, I definitely feel like they bullied them. Jonquil, Alyssa, Dewana, and Courtney, they just all are just playing really, really tough and letting them know like, hey, you guys may have won last year, but it's not going to be that easy. We know that they've had, situations where they felt like that they should have won a series, and it's going to be tough for them to kind of get over that. So I definitely am just excited for the season. For the series to continue for tomorrow night. But if the Sky does what they're supposed to do, they should win the series. But it's always a toss-up. If you don't come ready to play, the other team is definitely going to be there to win.
Yeah, I'm with y'all. I'm just looking forward for these series to continue to be exciting. Both series have been must-watch TV. You heard at the beginning of all this how the margin of victory in both games, like you combine them, we didn't hit 10 points. One game was decided by 3, the other decided by 5. Is what you want in postseason basketball. Gonna take our first break of the night. When we get back, update you guys on what DC United's been up to. You're watching the Focus TV. Welcome back to the Focus TV. As promised, they're up to update you guys on what DC United was up to this past weekend. Crazy second half in this week's game. Scoreless draw at the half on the road in Atlanta. Then everything went nuts. Again, you go from 0-0 to 5 second half goals scored total. Ravel Morrison, he knocked in a volley from outside the box. It was a very technical shot, very clean shot. His first score since joining DC United to give them a 1-0 lead. Atlanta responded like literally 2 minutes later on a goal from Franco. Then it was DC United's turn to respond as Ola Kamara headed in a ball right in front of the goal. Beautiful ball played by Chris Durkin. The Black and Red took a 2-1 lead at this time. 5 minutes later, Jose Martinez, one of the best goal scorers in this league, he's still kind of coming back slow off an ACL injury. That said, he's clearly still pissed about the fact that he's coming off the bench. Feels like he should be a starter. And he came in 2 minutes later. He goes up. He's like 5'7". At 5'7", despite his size, he does a great job at winning in the air. Wasn't a great job marking in the box. He heads it past the keeper, and it's tied. 2 minutes later, Atlanta United would take a lead from on a goal from Sanchez Parata. That would end up being the eventual game winner. That was in the 70th minute. So, like, in a little 15, 20-minute span, 5 goals were scored, and that was it. That was the game. And every goal that DC United gave up, a couple former coaches would call them soft. I think Wayne just kind of kept it where there were goals they shouldn't have given up. Honestly, it was just bad marking in the box. Some of the same things we talked about all year. They give up, set piece goals have been an issue. Defending set pieces have been a struggle for them, and it continued in this game. That said, quick turnaround. Up next, they take on NYCFC on Wednesday night on the road. Updates on the personnel side. It's been a whole lot of personnel moves this offseason, and they haven't stopped yet. DC United agreed to terms with SK Beveren in the Belgian second division for the acquisition of homegrown midfielder Moses Nyman. We haven't seen Moses play in quite a while. I know he got injured under the former coach, and then we just We just haven't seen him return to be in part of the lineup, honestly. The Black and Red will retain a percentage of any future transfer fee for Nyman. DC United have signed winger Christian Fletcher to a homegrown contract through 2025 with an option in 2026. Fletcher will spend the remainder of the season on Loudoun United, USL Championship League, their roster, and will become a DC United homegrown on January 1st, 2023 officially. That said, he will be called up on a 4-day loan, so there's a chance he might get on Wednesday's game against NYCFC. He is a winger. He's currently 17 years old. He'll be joining fellow homegrowns on the roster in Ted Kudipietro, Jake McGreen, Jeremy Gray, Bill Hamid, Donovan Pines, and Jackson Hopkins. And then last but not least, told you guys about Christian Benteke when they signed him. They still haven't given us those numbers. However, we know when he's going to make his season debut. It's going to be Wednesday on the road against NYCFC. I think Rooney said in a couple of reports that he expects for Benteke to play just 20 minutes on Wednesday. Then they turn around and on Sunday he'll make his home debut against the Colorado Rapids at Audi Field. We're going to move on to the 9-4-50 breakdown. This week Jamal Hayward is showing us a breakdown of using pass fake in transition. Again, using pass fakes in transition. That'll be followed by our second break. You're watching the Focus TV.
Today we're going to break down pass fakes in transition. It is a useful technique to throw the defense off. A team like Golden State uses this a lot, and it's also useful for Golden State because they're surrounded with shooters. Okay, so Steph, Clay, multiple different people on that team can shoot the ball. So you pass fake the Clay, wide open shot for Steph, vice versa. Okay, the reason why it's wide open because the person in the corner is probably going to be a knockdown shooter over 40%. You've got to get out to it. Okay, so we're going to break down the footwork first. So we're going to start here on this left wing. So as I'm coming down here, Clay Thompson is busting his butt to get to that corner. I'm Steph Curry. So once I step here, since I'm pass faking to my left, here's the footwork. I'm going to step in, right, left. So I'm establishing my right foot as my pivot foot, okay? Here's the reason. So, pass faking to that corner. This might work. But, as a kid, you were taught to step into your passes, where you're passing to your left, passing to your right, or passing straight forward. So, if I'm pass faking to my left, this is what's going to work. Exaggeration of the pass fake, okay? Because that's how you're taught to pass the ball anyway. So that help defender has no choice but to bite, especially if it's someone in the corner that can shoot. So I'm coming down in here, pass it. Now I have the option to shoot, or because I pass it here, that help defender that allows somebody else on defense to come to me since I have the ball. My big might have a wide open layup. So, let's go through it right now. Simple and easy.
I want to thank Jamal Hayward for knocking out the 9-4-50 breakdown this week. That said, Cardell, you know what time it is. What do you have for us this week? I feel like I know one of them, and I don't even want to talk about it.
I don't know. We shall see. We're gonna start on. Let's see. We're gonna start on the basketball side of things. A couple unfortunate stories, but we're gonna start at home. Brad Bill had an interview recently, and he kind of emphasized his loyalty to the Wizards. He said he feel he can write his own story, and that's everything to him. He said, people always look at me like I'm crazy, but I have a huge desire to want to make it work here and win here. This is the team that drafted me. They're super loyal. I have a great relationship with ownership and a great relationship with our front office. Plus, there's not a lot of chances in the careers of NBA players to be noted as the franchise guy, to be able to have the opportunity to be able to be in a position to where I can write my own story. That's everything. Loyalty is definitely a huge factor for me. At the end of the day, basketball is a business. You see guys drafted to teams and traded shortly after, and sometimes loyalty is questioned. I've never had that feeling. I've never had to have that particular cloud lingering over my head at any point in my career. I love the fact that we're always upfront, that there's always a straightforward conversation about where we're going and what we're doing. On that front, he says, I feel like if I win a championship here in DC, the grind of it with everything I've been through, all the adversity and ups and downs, that will make it win that much sweeter, make me appreciate it that much more. And I do love the grind and to sometimes go against the odds. Just what are your thoughts on Bill taking the loyalty route, at least for now? I'm going to start with you, Octavian.
I mean, honestly, I can't be mad at it. You know, like I talk about, you know, Damian Lillard going through a similar situation and, you know, how dedicated he is to being there. Although I don't think it's that much of a parallel between the two, because granted, Portland hasn't really done much, but they've done more than what the Wizards have done in the last couple of years. So I get both sides of it. You know, I get, you know, the whole thing about sticking with a team, winning it with them and feel sweeter, because I've read all the essays that Dame has talked about this situation, and I assume that's the same thing for Brad. It just got to come down to just how you feel about the situation. I just think that he has to, if he's content with it, then he'll be content with it. But it's the noise is always going to be there. And he's always going to hear, you know, are you just after the money? Do you love the game because you're staying with the Wizards? They have no chance of winning, blah, blah, blah. Is he going to be able to just block all that noise out and keep doing what he's doing? I think that's probably going to be his hardest battle in this situation. But, you know, like I get it. You know, it's a business, so it's probably nice for them sometimes to have a personal feel with it, because everything is always so quote unquote business, of course, with them. So maybe he just does feel comfortable. You know, I always try to take into account different things. I know we talk about, you know, the money and everything like that, but he has a family, you know, they live here. I'm sure that's probably part of his reasoning as well, not wanting to uproot and move his family all over the world or wherever places he's chasing to go. So I get it, but as long as he's content with what the results will be, regardless if they're positive results or negative results, and the talk that's going to come with it, because there's always going to be talk.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, sound good. But like, I just feel like a year ago we were it was kind of an air of uncertainty about, you know, I'm not gonna say his desire to be here or not, but I mean, they just kind of went through something with him in regards to an extension or whatnot. So, I mean, I don't have no issue with him saying it, but I kind of feels a little like overkill to me. I mean, just state your piece and move on. Like, but at the end of the day, you got to come and hoop as well. Like, and it's cool that he feels some type of connection to the franchise or whatever. But I mean, no, that's really not a selling point. Like, now you gotta do your job. Like, you know, that like last year was a disappointment, man. They were coming off the playoffs a season prior, and I know Bill was injured, but I mean, even during the time he was here, you know, it was just kind of just being objective from my personal viewpoint. It didn't look like he was all in, and with the uncertainty of his contract situation, you know, it just kind of put things in an awkward space. But I mean, he's here now. If he's focused, that's cool. I just want to see it, you know, work out well on the court.
As Ray said, just show us. You know, your contract's your contract now. We're gonna hold you accordingly, and it is what it is. You know, we've all been here to see, you know, how they got to this point, but you know, it's your team, so you know, all that stuff sounds great. It's about what you do with it now. So I'm just here, like, show us what's gonna happen with you being the lead guy, being one of those guys, you know, contract wise. Just show us. But you know, I guess outside of it, like the loyalty stuff doesn't. I mean, that's cool or whatever, but show us. That's just where I'm at right now. Show us.
Yeah, for me, it's just different in the era where everybody running to buddy up and stuff like that. I respect it to, you know, a certain extent that he's willing to grind it out, kind of similar to Dame, where you got all these former players pretty much saying leave the franchise. The thing that they don't understand is leaving don't guarantee nothing either, and what you also giving up is a lot of money and your status. Because when you go to somebody else's team, you're not that dude no more. You know, you you option B or option C, and then sometimes that's hell. I mean, look what happened out in LA with Russ. You know what I mean? It's not nothing's guaranteed in this league, man. So I get what he's saying. You can go out there, give all that up, and still not win. You know what I mean? So I respect the guys that endure and try to create something where it really hasn't been something where it really hasn't been that type of winning or something like. In our lifetime, we haven't seen winning with the Wizards. You know, we've seen playoff runs in certain pockets, but winning, that's like for our parents here, they used to that in the 70s, and that's been a long time. That's like 50 some years ago, you know what I mean? So it's been a while, man. So I respect it, but the Wizards is at the point now where, you know, all the pressers and stuff, it falls on deaf ears as far as DC fans are concerned, because we want to see the commitment. You can't say you want to win, but you half-assing on defense. You know what I mean, you don't need a coach. You don't need a coach to show effort on that end, man. That don't even take much. You can get somebody out the stands who can scrap for that. Start with that end. You know what I mean? Then okay, you know we can feel like all right, it's some commitment to this. But if it come back out like what we saw last year, and they just do the same thing this year, just jacking threes and trying to outscore teams, and you know, anybody trying to hit that, and then yeah, that loyalty will be questioned, because it's going to be clear that this is going nowhere, and for them to be paying you $250, I'm sure they're going to be trying to get rid of that. So we'll see how that loyalty stands if this thing don't go well and the wins don't start to pile up, and then they better pile up right away, because I'm looking at the Wizards' schedule, because they playing in China with the Warriors. When they get back, they got a nice little home slate, but they got some dogs out the gate. So that loyalty will be tested right away. If they get back, I think like the first 13 games, the majority of playoff teams, you know, at home. So if y'all like 2-11 or something like that, yeah, that loyalty, it won't be so loyal then. You know, it's gonna get ugly. We're gonna move on to something else that's very disturbing as far as NBA news. Former NBA player Terrence Williams has pleaded guilty to conspiring to commit healthcare fraud and identity theft in connection to a multi-million-dollar scam against the basketball league's health plan, authorities said. Williams, 35, entered his plea in federal court in Manhattan on Friday. He is scheduled to be sentenced in January and faces a maximum of 20 years in prison for the conspiracy charge and a mandatory minimum of 2 years in prison for identity theft. Williams was accused of being the leader of the scheme, which consisted of fraudulent claims and paperwork being submitted to the league's plan for medical and dental reimbursements. He and 17 other former players were charged in an indictment in October 2021, and authorities said at least $5 million in false claims were submitted to the plan between 2017 and 2021. Damian Williams, the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York, said Terrence Williams ran the scheme and recruited others to be part of it, giving them fake paperwork to submit. Authorities say Williams received at least $300,000 in kickbacks from the others for his efforts. In situations where others involved balked, authorities say Williams pretended to be other people and threatened them in order to gain compliance. The former player had been on pretrial release, but was remanded into custody earlier this year, with authorities telling a judge he had threatened a witness. As a part of the plea agreement, Williams will pay $2.5 million in restitution to the plan and forfeit over $650,000 to the federal government. Ray, just what are your thoughts on this sick story?
Stupid people don't make good criminals. Like I actually completely forgot about this, but with the recent development, kind of brought it back to the forefront. I mean, like, this was just unnecessary, sloppy, and just downright foolish. And then you're stealing from people you played with. Like I just don't understand, man. And then the way they went about it, like it was maybe like six claims to like the same doctor on the same day. Like come on, man. Come on. Like you deserve everything you about to get, man. Like I seriously have no sympathy. And I mean, what could be the reason? Like I don't know these guys' financial situation, but I'm pretty sure all of them not hurting. And even if you are, like, don't resort to this. like do something, man. And then some of the names that came up, those guys are getting a pension. So it's just greed and stupidity. And yeah, you're going to get your comeuppance. Like it sucks that it's happening, but you brought it on yourself. Like people got to be smarter in this, man. And then when the NBA makes it harder for people to submit claims because of stuff like this, they're gonna be crying. But no, you need to blame it on fools doing this type of stupid stuff. And I wouldn't blame the NBA for trying to protect their investment moving forward, like because that's what businesses do. Like if you're if this process has been compromised, then yeah, you're supposed to revisit it and make sure this can't happen again. So I mean, it's just a stupid, unfortunate situation.
Just selfish. Like it's incredibly selfish. And obviously, I don't think it'll get to the level like we know how bad things are over the NFL side with things of this nature. However, like Ray said, you about to make it just extra difficult for people behind you, and there was no reason to do this. Like just to be a part of this to begin with, to come up with it, be a part of it. Like Ray said, some folks scamming already have pensions. Like, what are y'all doing? Literally, what are y'all doing? Just like someone always wants to mess stuff up for other people, and this is a great example of it. It's just selfish. Like it's just Ray, like you said, those words were perfect. Greed and stupidity, incredibly selfish. Just like I really don't get the point.
I'll tell you.
One thing I hate is a scammer. So good riddance. I hate scammers. Trust me. Like, and then, like Ray said, you're not even good at it. So, congratulations. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes, have fun in jail. Because I don't understand it. Like, I personally really hate scammers because, like, just like everybody else can get out here and go to work or do whatever else they need to do to try to do it, like, here you are trying to scam a system to just do less work. And, like, it just... I hate people like that. So my thoughts are have a nice life and however many years you get in jail. And I hope you pay all your restitution back.
Yeah, it's just, I'm going to just keep it real, it's effed up. You stealing from guys you went to war with, guys that came before you who really needed. Like earlier this year, or earlier this summer, I saw a report that ABA just started getting some type of kickback money. Just started. Like the league just now, shout out to the NBA PA, the players and stuff like that. That's one thing they did that was solid. They just started getting some type of money and stuff like that. Start recognizing like, all right, we do recognize that little league from the 70s and late 60s and stuff. And it's like, nah, bro, they put the modern style into the NBA, man. And you know what I'm saying? And they brought that in there. So you got to recognize that. It's just effed up, as as an athlete myself that suffered big time injuries, you look for help and stuff to try to get back maybe what you lost or try to get through life without certain pain. You try to get through therapy and stuff. And if the resources are there for you, you would like to be able to use them. And you don't want to see people compromise that by being just flat out selfish and just call it what it is, evil and lacking integrity. And now the NBA will definitely doing that. See, this is all part of what's going to happen in NCAA. They're going to bring up all this. y'all doing stuff, man, and they going to just dump it down and make it hard. I mean, you can't even back that down. Like, they probably damn near going to have to and then file a claim. You know what I'm saying? Like, I need to see it myself. It's just sad that he did this, man. And then the thing is, whatever money you earn, you gonna get that back and then some. You didn't gain nothing but this, and you gonna go to jail for it, and you gonna be looked at as a disgrace. The league gonna pretty much blackball you. We don't want to have nothing to do with you because you just trash. It's just man. It's just ridiculous, man. And all it is, let's keep it with it. Let's be real. All it is they just want to keep up the certain lifestyle that they had when they played. That's all. And it was a BS lifestyle anyway, because it wasn't real. What, you want flaws for people that don't like you anyway? Like, what are you getting out of this, man? It's just sad, man. And it was a lot of big names when this first broke, man. I don't know what their involvement is or how they going to be punished, man, but it was a lot of names. Like, for real, you should know better, dog. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna see how this plays out, unless they gonna just make this dude the fall guy, Terrence Williams be the fall guy, whatever, man. But since he was seen to be the mastermind behind it, but it's just sad, man. And this is just another example of why it's getting harder and harder to have any compassion for a lot of the pros and stuff like that, man. Because, like, man, look, y'all quick to jump on media and fans and all that. Why ain't y'all so quick to jump on y'all peers when they do foul stuff like this? This is something easy to jump on your peer about. But they not so bold about that, man. I don't want to be that dude and stuff, man. We brotherhood and all that. Your brother ain't care about you when he was trying to steal the bread. So, I mean, it's just messed up, man. But he gonna pay, so that's on him. Man. Moving over to the football side, actually something interesting that involves all sports that I came across. Be careful how you flossing on social media. Falcons receiver Calvin Ridley, who is currently serving a minimum suspension of 1 year for violating the league's gambling policy, was targeted by a violent street gang in Atlanta amongst other entertainers and athletes. In all, 26 people were charged for violating Georgia's anti-gang racketeering laws. The specific misconduct allegedly includes carjacking, kidnapping, armed robbery, home invasions, and more. The drug-rich gang allegedly targeted celebrities and social media influencers. The homes of Ridley, singer Mariah Carey, Atlanta United goalkeeper Brad Guzan, and Marlon Hampton of the Real Housewives of Atlanta were broken into per the indictment. What they do is target people who show their wealth on social media, Fulton County District Attorney Fannie Willis said. So I do have a message for the public. Where it is kind of fun to put your things on social media and show off, unfortunately, these gangs are becoming more savvy, more sophisticated in the way they target you. Willis has made it clear that she will be aggressive in her efforts to enforce the law. I'm not going to negotiate with gang members, Willis said. I'm not going to allow pleas. We're going to find you, we're going to convict you, and we're going to send you to prison for the rest of your days, and I'm not apologizing for that. Just what are your thoughts on, we're going to start with you, Wilson, on, obviously Calvin really getting hit, but just these athletes and entertainers being targeted in general who like the floss out here.
Hey man, I'm kind of old, man. Everything isn't made for social media. I don't know what's wrong with y'all. Y'all don't need to put up everything. You can start with, I don't know. Look, I don't have stuff, and my location stays off. So I don't know what's wrong with some of y'all. If I had some of the stuff y'all had, speaking of people that just got, my location wouldn't be on. My house wouldn't be seen. Google Images would have the only image of my house, and I would challenge Google Images to get that thing up off of there. I want to be invisible. I don't understand what the purpose of this for is. Like, to some degree, like, you have to know a part of you, like, you have to be incredibly naive not to think that, like, showing everything is literally like, hey, come here, it's available for you. Like, go outside, touch grass. You're in just be in reality for a little bit. What are you doing? It just, and I'm not saying everybody that this happened to deserves it. Obviously not, but wouldn't you go out your way, like, just a little bit to, if you could do something about it, maybe prevent it a little bit? Like, I don't get this period for the mindset. I don't get to put all my stuff out there to begin with. Like, I don't get that. I just think it doesn't make sense. And again, I don't wish what happened to any of the people that were harmed by this. But again, why? Like if you got to that place in life, why do you need to tell and show everyone? Like, you're an NFL player. You don't need to show us stuff for us to know you're an NFL player. You're one of the greatest singers of your generation, whatever. It's known. We don't need to see stuff. Like, why? Like, I know if it's me scrolling through, I don't care, but other people that don't have probably do. I don't get that part. It's like, I don't know, man. Like I said, I don't really get it.
I'll tell you.
To me, what's even funnier, too, that I recently heard another story that's kind of not a gang, but similar. Like, recently they started talking about when Kim Kardashian got robbed in Paris. The people that robbed her were 60-year-old, like, people from Paris. Like they were watching her for like 2 years and knew she was going to be in Paris and like set the whole thing up. So if you're telling me a 60-year-old, 65 plus year old man in Paris is watching people, I know the people in Atlanta is watching people. Okay. So to me, it's like, do at your own risk. And honestly, I read something where like the guy said, he was like, I'm not sorry about it. She gets on Instagram, she flosses all her stuff. She acts like she doesn't care about it. So we went and took it. But she didn't care. Granted, it sounds ridiculous, but this is how people think. So I say that to say, like, you have to, like, that's the risk you're willing to take. If you want to floss like that, I hope you got good security. And honestly, it doesn't look like Mariah Carey, Calvin Ridley, and Marlo from the Housewives have good security. Especially Marlo, because, I mean, you on TV all day, every day with your whole everything out. Like, literally, your life is on TV. Like, granted, Calvin Ridley, he plays football. Cool. Mariah, she sings. But, like, to me, even, like, reality stars, like, literally, like, you're showing your whole life. So what makes you think people aren't watching? But yeah, it's still terrible situation. Like Wilson said, also, like, I don't wish that on anybody. I kind of feel it the same as, like, like, you put yourself in situations like that, although you feel like you shouldn't have to, like, not do these things. But that's where you have to take in consideration. Like I said, like, if that's what you're willing to put yourself in a situation that could possibly happen, then you got to be ready for the repercussions. Not that it's right. It's just life. And we all know life's not fair. So, and like Wilson said, like, I'm nobody either. So, like, I don't have my location on. I barely even get on social media like that anymore anyway. So, I don't get it either. But it's the generation, granted, most of these we're talking about like Mariah Carey and Marlo. They're like in their 50s. So granted, I say this generation, but it's just this timing, this era of people just wanting to, I guess, floss and show off all this stuff. And it's getting you in a bad situation. And technology is getting smarter and smarter. And these kids that are doing stuff are smart too. They're just not using their smarts for the things that you would think they would use it for. These kids are smart. They're using air tags to freaking track cars and go back and steal them later. Like, these kids are smart. So, prayers to them. I hope nothing bad happens. And I hope they do catch them, because, again, like I said, I hate scammers. I hate people that steal. But hey, everybody got to eat, I guess.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks that there's people out there like that, but you gotta live in reality, man. You gotta face the fact that there are people out there like that, and like Octavia said, if you're gonna put it out there, then that security team better be on point. But yeah, I'm from the same cloth as Wilson, man. I'm not into broadcasting everything, especially my personal wealth. I mean, if I were of that status, I definitely wouldn't be broadcasting that to the world. I mean, it's already assumed that, that you have a lot of nice things based on your profession. So why even confirm it and entice people? Like, but I'm just glad I grew up in where and when I did, because, in high school, you go cop some sneakers or something, you moving real careful through the city. Because people lurking, man. But yeah, if I was in this situation, I definitely would would be more mindful of how and what I post, because crime has moved to the web, like, and you're making it very easy for them to target you and formulate a plan to get your stuff. So you just gotta be careful, man. I hope lessons have been learned on all sides. I'm glad the law enforcement down there is prioritizing this, because I mean, it's just hard to police the entire internet, like, and it just leaves you open for so much. But yeah, hopefully they get this under control, and people just move a little bit smarter, man, because that, if people breaking into your house, that could open up to just a lot of bad scenarios. So yeah, man, I just wish the best for those people that got targeted, and yeah, I hope they just get a handle on this thing.
Yeah. it's like what DMX said. He had a rhyme where he was just like, if you flashing it, you must not want it. I mess with real that done it. You know what time it is, run it. Like, that's pretty much what it is, though. Like, if you keep flashing it, it's people out there who don't have, who are angry as well, who feel like they ain't got the breaks in life. They're going to target you. Like Ray said, I grew up in a time where that was just known. You know, I was taught that as a young kid. Growing up Southern Avenue was just, couldn't even leave your toy in the seat. Follow like, nah, put that underneath the rug, because if they see anything, they coming in my car. Like, it was just, you had to be aware, man. It's just too much. It's too much trying to keep up with the Joneses. I get it. The profession we in, you know, we need social media. You can't even get a media credential without it. That's one of the main things they evaluate if you get approved or not off of. They're gonna check your social media. So for me, I just keep it basketball. I would never, even if I'm rich or not, no one will ever know but my wife. She's the only one that need to know. I'm not flashy. I'm not going to be flossy, walking around and everything. Like I said, you just become a target. You know, that's pretty much what happened with my man with the Redskins. You know, the man, he was sitting in a nice car on A Street. I know he ain't from here. I don't know why he was over in the area. That's the Trinidad area. I don't know what he was doing, but somebody should have told him. But anyway, stay close to Ashburn, Northern Virginia. You'll be all right. But, yeah, you don't want to be over there in that area, especially in the evening. The Wolves are always out at that time, but you just gotta be smarter, man. And people, like you said, in the public eye, celebrities and stuff, you almost have to have security, especially now. Like, people want to go viral. They don't even want that from you. They just want to mess with you just to go viral. Like the dude who messed with Mike Tyson on a plane and got beat up. You know what I'm saying? That was his whole intent, to go viral off of ass whooping. Like, people's minds are just gone these days. It really makes no sense. All the more reason just to have security, people you pay to handle those situations, man. Look at all the young rappers that's gotten killed, all that Pop Smoke, all these youngins, man. It's usually after they flashing money, some watch or something on the net, and then them boys come get them. You know what I mean? It's just, you gotta be aware, man. You can't be so caught up in your lifestyle and trying to show people that you got it going on that you're unaware that it's some crooked people out here, and there will always be crooked people out here. You gotta be alert about them, because it could literally mean life or death. Like you said, Mariah Carey, she been in the game damn near longer than we've been alive. So they probably just hit her house just because she probably not even there. You know what I'm saying? Like, just for a prize or something, like, just to do it. But you know, Calvin definitely gotta be careful now, because now they know you're a gambler, so they know you always keeping money on you. You feel what I'm saying? That it's little stuff like that they, you know, I'm robbing you. I'm looking for any sign. Like, yeah, you know, if I see you got little cars. Remember, you know, I remember years ago when we were in college, Cameron, he got shot over there by Howard. What was he driving? A purple Lambo in DC. You know what I'm saying? That probably, like, that screams like, come get me. Now, people said it's related to the paid in full stuff. Who am I to say? But I know that purple Lambo, that circulated, and this was before social media. You feel what I'm saying? So it don't take much. Who else got a purple Lambo in DC? I don't know nobody like that. So it just brings attention, unnecessary attention to you, and you know, it's unnecessary. It's unwanted attention. It's not gonna help you in any way, man. So move cautiously, like y'all said. When I'm certain places, yeah, you see the location, but I'm usually gone by that time. So you can show all you want. I ain't there. So you just gonna feel stupid, man. You know what I mean? But nah, you gotta be careful, man. And definitely, if you gotta know you got a lot of money and you in the public eye, you know you always want to be in public eye because it's part of your business, man. Keep security on you. Like, that's just you can't even play it. I would have security in my crib. Matter of fact, Vince Carter is another one that just he wasn't there, but they broke in there, and I think they got at his wife and kid. Luckily, his kid was in the closet or whatever. The wife had a son in the closet, and they broke in the home, and they robbed like 6 figures of cash and stuff like that. So it had to be somebody watching them stuff. Vince was on the road working, but he had to come back and handle that. And I don't know, people don't know, he's married to Vince's wife is Anton Jameson's sister. So you see the connection and all that, man. Like, think about it. Like, I know they got money. 2 NBA players connected to this. I'm going to get that. So, man, just be careful out here, man. Just think smart. It ain't worth it. Last question. Sammy Watkins said Aaron Rodgers is on another level than Patrick Mahomes. In the interview with Watkins on with the Packers, Larry McCarron attributed his quote to Watkins when asked by Packers receiver Randall Cobb to compare Mahomes to Aaron Rodgers. Watkins said, "I think Patton is incredibly good, but A-Rod is on a whole nother level." Watkins told Cobb when McCarron repeated that quote to Watkins, Watkins didn't deny saying it. He said he's amazing. Watkins said Rodgers, how he controls the ball, how he puts everyone in place. I've been with a lot of quarterbacks, and I've never seen them carry themselves like Aaron Rodgers. Could be seen as a slight, or he's just kissing butt to try to get more throws his way. Who knows? We're going around about Octavian. What are your thoughts on this?
I really wish they would leave Patrick Mahomes alone. Like, everybody got something to say about Patrick Mahomes. Like, let him live. I don't know why this is like the hot topic. His people leaving and going other places and asking, are they better than Patrick Mahomes? Like, Patrick Mahomes is a top tier quarterback. Like, we know that. We know what Aaron Rodgers is. We know what Pat is. There's no need to compare. They're both great quarterbacks. We know that Aaron Rodgers is a generational talent. Pat is going to be a generational talent if he's not already. So, to me, it sounds like Sammy Watkins is kissing a little, just trying to get some more throws in, because I don't even remember him catching that many from Pat. So, I don't know how much he knows about the situation anyway. I mean, he done been on 5 different teams in the last couple of years. I don't know why they didn't ask him about, how good is Lamar? How good is Josh? Like, he's been with all of these players. And he's the one that keeps leaving. I digress. So,
Right.
Yeah, I'm with Octavia, man. Like that was it's a silly comparison, man. You got one guy who's obviously an all-time great, but he's in the twilight of his career. Then you got another guy who's his trajectory is on that path, but he's pretty much just getting started. And with the amount of success he's had this early on, like just let that man live and play out his career in peace. Yeah, I don't know what Watkins' intentions were with that statement. But yeah, dude, like it's better ways to go about it. If you want some more targets, you could get open. That's a way to start. But yeah, man, I don't understand what the obsession is with Patrick Mahomes. It just seemed like he's the guy they want to see fail or fall in some way and try to tear him down. Along with Lamar. There's a theme there, but I'm not even gonna get into all that. But yeah, man, you shouldn't be comparing those two players at these points in their careers. Like it was just unnecessary and stupid.
Awesome.
Like Ray said, man, this virus going around this league with some quarterbacks for no reason, where they've done stuff already, where they haven't done stuff, just from all different stages of their career. But yes, Aaron Rodgers is gonna look like someone at the height of their superpowers. It's at the end. It's gonna look like that. Like, clearly, Pat's not. We haven't even seen Pat at the height of his. That said, sir, you were on his Super Bowl roster, correct? Shut up. Just shut up. Like, 1, stay healthy. 2, I hope you know the 2 young kids who are going to take your snaps this season. The first name is Christian Watson. The second name is Romeo Dubs. I wish you the best. Focus on you. Just focus on you. Because right now, you're here because those guys, one went to Nevada, one went to North Dakota State, one played through the preseason, the other one was nicked up. Sir, what, like, as I said, you said the common themes here, you're always holding someone's job until the kids are ready to go. Focus on you, man. Y'all, as Carlos said, can y'all stop messing with some of these quarterbacks? Leave them alone. Like, y'all keep firing shots at dudes who got MVPs already. What's wrong with y'all?
Oh, that's the way of the world now. That's the way of the world. People who haven't done much firing shots at people who have. That's the way of the world. It makes no sense. I call it the Giannis effect. Same thing in the NBA. They want to keep messing with Giannis. Same thing.
And
Then it just destroys them, and then all that goes is quiet all of a sudden when they got to face them. Ain't none of that when they got to face them though. I just want to say, Mr. Mahomes, don't take that out on my back. Take that on the rest of the league. We ain't saying nothing. We just over here doing what we do. I know better. I don't have no problem. Take that out on them, man. If they make it.
Cause I'm just saying, like, Tyreek, Sammy, all y'all that aren't there anymore. Y'all gonna be mad when Juju's name becomes relevant again. Cause I'm going to laugh. We was laughing at Juju for all the crap he did in Pittsburgh. He's with Patrick Mahomes now. Like Sammy Watkins, if Juju just plays 60 games a year, he's gonna put up more numbers than you did with Pat. He just has to play 16 games. Tyreek, you were amazing, obviously, but bro, you can't tell me. And I'm a guy who likes Tua, like a lot. I really do like Tua. That said, ain't no way you about to tell me on God's green earth that you're not gonna convince me. Nope. Someone's gonna have to come down and walk me through this process, like for real. That's better than what you just left. There's no way.
They perform nothing.
Like, and again, I love Tua, but y'all gotta stop it. And Cardell said, leave this man alone. Y'all call what he did last year a down year. Could y'all leave people alone, please?
All I know is he put 50 on my Broncos 1 year, though. That's what I was like. No.
I just don't ever want to play him. I hope we never get on that rotation.
It's like these NBA players that say Giannis still not skilled. You don't know how to develop his body. It doesn't make sense. But these are the guys that's supposed to know, right? Because they played in the NFL in the league, right? But they're saying the same BS we see. Well, I don't watch it, but that be on TV in the morning. And that they call out, but it makes no sense, man. Like, at the end of the day, no matter how you feel about a play, it comes back to one thing you can't dispute: results. And Mahomes, he gets high results. It ain't too many on his level as far as results, concerned. So what is there to talk about? He even got a bowl. So it's just like he's just building on what he's already got. And I know one thing, Tyree, here, you ain't getting one in Miami unless a miracle happen. Maybe in Green Bay, y'all don't even have a defense. I don't know. Like, no. What are we talking about, bro? Unless Aaron Rodgers just go crazy, y'all averaging 55 a game or something, but that ain't going to happen. Y'all going to run into somebody, y'all going to run into defense, going to be injuries and stuff. They going to shut that down. Like, what? I don't know. These dudes are just different, man. Like, I'll be focused. I'll just be working. I would just be working, trying to maximize what we got wherever I'm at. I ain't worried about him until we got to play him. And even then, if I'm on offense, I ain't got to worry about him. I'm worried about the Aaron Donalds and whatever. They're trying to knock my head off for real. So, like, come on, man. Like, go ahead, man. These people do that. It's on you there.
Like, it's crazy because my man's talking. You just one of 15 people who can't fill Devontae Adams' shoes. Like, what are we doing here? I'm going to say it. Like, what are we doing here? Like, if Aaron had a chance to keep his old thing or welcome you here, what do you think it would be? Keep Devontae Adams or bring in 5 new people? I'm not. What are we doing, man? And I'm not trying to be rude. The Chiefs beat my team in that Super Bowl, right? Sammy, bless your heart. You was on Richard Sherman. Richard Sherman's guard. He was on the end of his legs. Bruh, you did not have no historic Super Bowl performance, sir. They left the 2 of you over there, one old, one that just doesn't do too much, and y'all played one-on-one. And everybody else did exciting things. Like, I don't know what we're talking about.
And how much you trying to bet he blames Patrick Mahomes for it? Like, or a lot of wide receivers.
No, you want to know what? That's the funny part. You can be mad if you want to, but you want to know where the respect was shown? They left a 45-year-old man on you, one-on-one, in a zone defense. They just didn't care what you did. They was like, Lord, no Tyreek. Lord, no Kelsey. We will deal with the rest. And you were part of the rest. How can you get mad at Pat for that? Boy, you done played with... You took a tour of every good quarterback in this league. You played with Lamar. You played with Josh Allen. You played with Patrick Mahomes. Only one of them dudes got you a ring. You about to play with Aaron. Why are you talking about the dude that you got a ring with? You're not mad at Josh Allen because you were there and he didn't care. He was just throwing Stephon Diggs.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to ask valid questions. Like, I don't get it, man. But, like, we got to stop doing this thing where, like, y'all just get... How are you even mad at the kid?
That's what it is. It's like when former players call Russell Wilson square.
Don't get me started on them.
I'm just saying, like,
Please don't get me started on them. I want to punch him in his throat, like, sir, shut up.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like, what are these dudes doing? Oh, because they actually are, I don't know, being men and handling their business. That makes you feel away or something. It makes no sense. It don't add up, dog. It's bringing out insecurity. That's all it is. And the thing is, bro, like I said, man, let's call it what it is. If you don't catch passes with Aaron Rodgers, after you done had the quarterback slate you had, you out the league, dog. I'm just serious. It's just like, all right, we can't help you, dog. You done played with some all-time greats. I just know if you put certain wide receivers, Devontae Adams, he eating whoever he with. I like the Cup kid and Rams, and out there with the Rams set all the records. He gonna eat wherever he is. It's people that just putting in work, dog. People need to get back to that, man, because this just, I get it. If they mess with you or something, I get it. You know what I'm saying? But I guarantee Mahomes wasn't thinking about him.
And probably still ain't.
And now he gonna get some questions about it. What do you think about Sammy, man? I'm just focused on the Chiefs, man.
He was like, who? Sammy who? I don't know no Sammy.
Now I gotta get ready for shootouts. He opened his mouth. It's over.
Shout out to the Packers defense. Congratulations. I don't know. They better hope not.
Nah, I literally was just looking at that. They don't. They just played them in the preseason. That was it.
Then they got aired out in that one, right? Or Pat didn't play?
I don't think he played. It was 17-10.
They just leave people alone, man. That's all I ask. Leave killers be. Just let them be. Like, how you disrespecting like 3-year-old MVPs and stuff in the league? Like, leave them alone, man. My man's so talented. We had this thing where Aaron Rodgers been the most talented quarterback, and people don't even question it. Boy, he popped up on the scene. We're like, well, actually, let's revisit this. 2 weeks in. Leave him alone. And that's not a knock on Aaron Rodgers. It's just, bro, he jumped on the scale real quick, and it was like, oh, that's different. Oh, my God. Well, Aaron, I mean, we used to think that about you, but have you seen that? Like, y'all got to stop, man. But appreciate y'all hanging in with us this week. We truly do each and every week. We'll see y'all next week. I know the WNBA Playoffs will have advanced. Thus far, we'll be 1 week closer to the start of week 1 of the NFL season. I'm sure 90% of these rosters that Octavia mentioned this week will look totally different by next week, if not by the week afterwards. And then we'll see whatever happens in the sports world that's going to contribute to Rapid Fire by next week as well. Don't forget, follow us on social media, all across social media at The Focus TV, and then get over to thefocustv.com. Y'all have a great evening, and we'll see you guys soon.